Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this two children born on the same street, in the same city, at the same time. They breathe the same air, hear the same songs drifting through the neighborhood, and dream under the same night sky filled with stars. But as the years pass, something invisible but powerful separates them. Not money, not luck, not even talent, but a secret door in their minds. One sees possibility in every problem. The other sees a problem in every possibility. One asks, "How can I do this?" The other sighs, "I can't do this." And slowly, like the sun rising on one life and setting on the other, their worlds drift apart, not by chance, but by mindset. Today, my dear listener, I'm going to take you on a journey through this secret door inside your mind. A door that, once opened, can transform your life forever. This is not just a story about money, it's a story about freedom, choices, hope, and the beautiful power you hold inside your head and heart. So stay with me until the end, because when you finish this story, you may never see your life the same way again. Chapter 1. The Tale of Two Brothers. In a small village nestled between misty hills and quiet rivers, there lived two brothers, Arjun and Ravi. Their father was a humble tailor, their mother a loving homemaker. Every morning before sunrise, the boys would run barefoot through dew-covered fields to the village school, their laughter echoing in the crisp morning air. To the villagers, the boys were twins of fortune. Same family, same roof, same love. But life had whispered two different seeds into their hearts, the seeds of how they thought about the world. The first sign. One day, when they were just 10 years old, their father came home with two shiny new notebooks, one for Arjun and one for Ravi. "Boys," he said gently, "these notebooks are special. Write your dreams in them. One day, these dreams will show you your future." Arjun's eyes sparkled. He carefully opened the first page and wrote, "I will build the biggest library in our village so every child can learn." Ravi frowned. He stared at his empty notebook and murmured, "Why write dreams? We can't afford them anyway." That night, under the same flickering oil lamp, Arjun scribbled plan after plan. Ravi doodled cartoons to pass time. Without knowing it, the seeds were watered. Chapter 2. Early Choices. Years passed. The brothers grew taller, their voices deeper, their shoulders broader. But inside, their minds grew in opposite directions. Arjun began borrowing old books from the village teacher. He would fix broken pens for neighbors in exchange for stories from distant lands. He asked questions, so many questions, about everything. How does a train run? Why do stars shine? What makes people rich? Ravi, meanwhile, rolled his eyes. "Arjun, stop wasting time. No one from our family ever got rich. Just accept life. Do you work, eat, sleep, repeat?" When Arjun asked him to help fix a broken bicycle to earn some extra coins, Ravi shrugged. "Why bother? It's too much trouble." One brother's mind whispered, possibility. The other's mind whispered, pointless. Chapter 3. The Big Opportunity. When they turned 17, the village announced that a new railway would be built nearby. The contractor needed young helpers to carry wood and lay stones. Arjun was the first to sign up. He worked from dawn till dusk, saving every rupee he earned. But while carrying wood, he listened to the engineers talk. He asked them about blueprints and train routes. He learned how bridges were built over rivers. Ravi also joined, but he grumbled every day. He spent his money on cheap sweets and gambling with other idle boys. Every night he cursed the village for being unfair, the work for being too hard, and the pay for being too little. "Why do you care about how bridges are built?" Ravi mocked his brother one night. "You're just a laborer like me." Arjun smiled, wiping sweat from his brow. "Because one day I won't be." Chapter 4. Small Doors, Big Rooms. By 20, Arjun had saved enough to buy old books on engineering. He would sit near the railway line after work, sketching bridges in the dirt, dreaming about metal and concrete. One day, an engineer noticed him and asked, "Why do you draw these?" Arjun answered, "Because I want to build them someday." The engineer laughed but kindly said, "Come work with us as an assistant. You have potential." It was a small door, but Arjun opened it wide. Ravi, meanwhile, grew bitter. Seeing his brother leave the heavy labor made him envious. He whispered to the others, He thinks he's better than us now. But watch, he'll come crawling back. Chapter 5. The Village Talks. Years rolled by like the river that never stops flowing. Arjun became an apprentice, then a junior engineer, then a trusted foreman. He sent money home, fixed the leaking roof, and paid for his mother's medicines. The villagers now spoke his name with pride. Arjun, the boy who dreamed big. Ravi still worked odd jobs. He blamed the government, the village, the weather, everything but himself. One evening, while resting under a tree, Ravi saw Arjun returning home in a shiny jeep. Children ran after the car, laughing, calling his name. Jealousy burned in Ravi's heart. He clenched his fists and hissed, "Lucky fool." But inside a quiet voice answered, or maybe he just thinks differently. Chapter 6. A Conversation at Dusk. That night, under the same old oil lamp, the brothers sat together for the first time in years. Their mother was asleep, snoring softly in the next room. Ravi couldn't hold it anymore. "Tell me, Arjun, how did you do it? How did you change everything?" Arjun looked at his brother, his eyes kind but firm. "I didn't change everything, Ravi. I just changed one thing." "What?" "My mind." Ravi scoffed. "Easy for you to say." Arjun leaned closer. "No, Ravi, it's easy for anyone to say, but hard for most to believe. You think rich people are lucky. I think they're curious. You think life is a punishment. I think it's a puzzle. You wait for someone to help you. I look for how I can help myself." He touched his brother's shoulder gently. "It's not money that makes someone rich, Ravi. It's the mindset that creates the money." Chapter 7. A Seed of Change. That night, Ravi couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling, haunted by his brother's words. He remembered his dusty old notebook, hidden under clothes. He dug it out, its pages yellowed with time. He flipped to the first empty page, and for the first time in 20 years he wrote, "I want to change my mindset." He had no idea how. He didn't even know if he could. But for the first time in a long time, he felt a tiny spark, the same spark his brother had all those years ago. Chapter 8. The Choice We All Have. Dear listener, maybe as you hear this, you feel like Ravi. Maybe you see people richer than you, luckier than you, happier than you, and you think it's just not meant for me. But let me whisper a secret that Arjun once whispered to Ravi. It's not about where you live. It's not about who your parents were. It's not about how much money you have right now. It's about how you see yourself in the world tomorrow. A rich mindset doesn't ask, "Why me?" It asks, "What now?" It doesn't blame. It builds. It doesn't complain. It creates. So tonight, like Ravi, maybe you can take an empty page in your mind and write your first line. I want to change my mindset. Because this is just the beginning. In the next part of this story, I will show you how Ravi takes tiny steps to rebuild his mind, and how you can do it too. Rich versus Poor Mindset, a story that will change how you think, Part 2. In Part 1, we met two brothers, Arjun and Ravi, born equal but separated by something invisible yet powerful, their mindset. Arjun saw doors in every wall. Ravi saw walls in every door. Years later, Arjun returned to the village as a respected engineer. Ravi, still struggling, asked his brother the secret. Arjun whispered, "It's not money. It's your mind." That night, for the first time in years, Ravi opened his old notebook and wrote, "I want to change my mindset." Now, dear listener, let's step into what happened next, and how Ravi's story might just become yours. Chapter 9. The Hardest Step. Early next morning, Ravi sat on the front porch, notebook on his knee. Birds chirped in the neem tree above, but his mind was loud with doubt. How can I change? I'm too old. I'm not smart like Arjun. People will laugh at me. He scribbled these thoughts in his notebook, filling a whole page with his fears. Then he heard Arjun's voice in his head. A rich mind doesn't blame, it builds. He crossed out every line. Underneath, he wrote 3 words, 1 step today. Chapter 10. The Lesson of the Broken Radio. Arjun found Ravi sitting there. He smiled and placed an old, broken radio next to him. Fix this, Arjun said. Ravi looked puzzled. But I don't know how? Arjun chuckled. Exactly, so learn how. A poor mindset says, I don't know, so I can't. A rich mindset says, I don't know, so I will find out. Ravi hesitated, then picked up a screwdriver. Hours passed. He broke the radio further, cut his finger, cursed it under his breath. But each time he wanted to quit, Arjun said softly, "Keep going." By sunset, a crackle came from the speaker, music after years of silence. Ravi's eyes widened. "I did it?" Arjun nodded, pride shining in his eyes. "Yes, and tomorrow you'll fix something harder." This is how a rich mindset grows, not in huge leaps, but tiny victories. Chapter 11. The Gossip and the Laughter. Word spread through the village. Ravi is trying to fix things. Ravi is reading books. Neighbors laughed behind his back. "Look at him, acting like he's smart now. He thinks he's Arjun? Too late for him. He's just making a fool of himself." Each whisper stabbed Ravi's heart. One evening, he threw his notebook across the yard in anger. Arjun found him sitting alone, tears glistening under the moonlight. "Let them laugh," Arjun said gently. "When they laugh, it means you're growing beyond what they know. If you want a rich life, you must stop listening to poor voices." He handed Ravi the notebook. "Write this: their laughter cannot feed me. My growth will feed my future." Ravi wrote it. And he believed it a little more every day. Chapter 12. The Power of New Questions. Ravi's biggest change came not from books, but from changing his questions. Before, why is life unfair? Now, how can I make my life better? Before, why don't I have money? Now, how can I earn more, save more, invest more? Every evening he asked Arjun, "Teach me something new." One evening, Arjun drew 2 circles in the dirt. "This is your comfort zone," he said, pointing to the small circle. Then he pointed to the bigger one. "And this is where growth happens." Ravi stared. "How do I step out of the small one?" Arjun smiled. "One uncomfortable thing a day. Fix something new. Talk to someone new. Read a book you don't understand. Do what scares you." Ravi nodded. And the next day he did just that. Chapter 13. Ravi's first small business. It began with an old bicycle. One day, a neighbor's son brought Ravi a broken bicycle. "Uncle, can you fix it?" Arjun uncle said you can. Ravi felt panic rise. What if I fail? But he heard Arjun's voice. One uncomfortable thing a day. He fixed it slowly, carefully. The boy paid him 5 rupees. The next week, 2 more boys came. By the end of the month, Ravi's yard was full of bicycles waiting for his hands. For the first time in his life, Ravi earned money not by waiting for work, but by creating work. He told Arjun, beaming with pride, "I feel alive, brother. Like I'm planting seeds in my own field." Arjun hugged him. "This is your rich mindset. Water it every day." Chapter 14. The Battle Inside. But every hero fights an inner demon. Ravi's was old habits. One night, a group of old friends called him to gamble. "Just one game, Ravi." "You used to love it." For a moment, the old thrill tempted him. Easy escape. Easy loss. He clenched his fists and remembered his notebook. He told them, "I don't gamble with money anymore. I invested in my mind and my dreams." They laughed. They mocked him. But he turned and walked away. That night, he wrote in his notebook, "Rich mindset equals protect my money. Poor mindset equals waste it for quick pleasure." Each word was a brick in the new house he was building inside himself. Chapter 15. A Rainy Night and a New Door. One night, heavy rain flooded the village. People panicked as muddy water flowed into their homes. Ravi looked at his tiny bicycle shed and thought, "How can I help?" He built a wooden ramp to lift the bicycles above the water. He gathered old plastic sheets to protect villagers' beds from rain leaks. He organized young boys to dig small trenches to divert water. Neighbors watched him work tirelessly, drenched but smiling. By dawn, the village was safe, thanks to Ravi's quick thinking. An old man clapped him on the back. "Ravi, you've become Arjun's brother at last." Ravi corrected him kindly. "No, uncle. I've become my own man." Chapter 16. The Notebook of Gold. Years passed. Ravi's bicycle shed became a small workshop, then a small garage. He taught young boys to repair, to save, to dream. One day, he sat beside Arjun under the neem tree where they once played as boys. He handed Arjun his notebook, now thick with notes, ideas, crossed out mistakes, and dreams. Arjun flipped through the pages, his eyes misty. This notebook is more precious than gold, Ravi. Not because of the money you made, but because it shows how you changed your mind. Ravi smiled, sunlight dancing on his face. I used to think the world needed to change for me. Now I know I needed to change for the world. Chapter 17. A message for you. Dear listener, do you feel a fire in your heart now? Let Ravi's story remind you. A poor mindset waits for rescue. A rich mindset builds its own ladder. A poor mindset blames the world. A rich mindset changes itself first. A poor mindset spends without thinking. A rich mindset invests in knowledge, in people, in growth. No matter where you are, no matter how many mistakes you've made, today can be your first page. Tonight, before you sleep, take a notebook or a single piece of paper. Write one step today. Then, like Ravi, take one uncomfortable step tomorrow. Fix something broken in your house, in your work, in your heart. This is how ordinary people become extraordinary, step by tiny step. Rich versus poor mindset, a story that will change how you think, Part 3. In Part 1, we met Arjun and Ravi, two brothers, same home but opposite minds. In Part 2, Ravi faced laughter, failures, old temptations, but step by step, he grew a rich mindset that turned broken bicycles into a business and insults into inspiration. Now, dear listener, in this final part, see how one changed mind can light 1,000 candles, and how Ravi's story can become the spark in your life too. Chapter 18. Planting the seed in others. Years passed quietly but powerfully. Ravi's small workshop buzzed with life every day, laughter, clinking tools, and the hum of dreams being built. One evening, Ravi sat under the neem tree with 4 village boys who worked with him. He asked them, "Tell me, what's the difference between rich and poor people?" One shy boy said, "Money?" Ravi smiled. "No, it's how they think. A poor mind sees a broken bicycle and complains. A rich mind sees a chance to fix it and earn. A poor mind fears failure. A rich mind uses failure as a teacher." He handed each boy a small, cheap notebook. Write in this every night what you learned, what you failed at, what you want tomorrow. This notebook will become your wealth. The boys listened, wide-eyed. A single seed of a rich mindset had been planted and would soon bloom. Chapter 19. The Festival of Light. Every year, the village held a festival for the goddess of prosperity, lights, colors, music. This year, Ravi decided to do something different. He told the boys, "We will use our savings to light up the whole village. No house in darkness." The boys were nervous. "But what if we lose money?" Ravi said calmly, "If we lose money, we gain trust. Trust is more valuable than coins." They bought candles and lamps, painted old walls, repaired temple lights for free. When the festival night came, the village glowed brighter than ever before. Even the poorest hut flickered with warmth. Old men whispered, "Ravi's mind is richer than a king's." Children danced, mothers blessed him. And in the middle of it all, Ravi stood quietly, tears shining in the lamplight, remembering the darkness he once carried inside. Chapter 20. Arjun's Secret. One late night, Arjun and Ravi sat together on the porch, sipping hot tea. The moon washed the yard in silver. "Brother," Ravi said softly, "you gave me your wisdom for free. How can I repay you?" Arjun laughed gently. "Ravi, you don't owe me anything. But since you ask, promise me one thing." "What?" "Teach 2 people what I taught you. Then tell them to teach 2 more. This is how rich minds multiply. Money divides when you spend it. Wisdom multiplies." Ravi placed his hand over Arjun's. "I promise." They sat together in silence, 2 brothers who had once been worlds apart, now united by one invisible bridge, a mind reborn. Chapter 21. The Test of Crisis. No hero's story is complete without a storm. One year, a drought scorched the fields, crops died, wells dried up, people grew desperate. Many villagers gave up, cursing fate, borrowing money they could never repay. But Ravi gathered his boys. A rich mindset finds a door even in disaster. They dug new rainwater pits, fixed old water pumps, built clay pots to save every drop. Ravi sold his own tools to buy seeds for the next season. He taught villagers to plant hardy crops that needed less water. When the rains returned, Ravi's village was ready, while neighboring villages begged for help. One elder wept, holding Ravi's hands. "Your mine saved us, son." Ravi smiled humbly. "No, uncle, our mine did." Chapter 22, From One to Many. News of Ravi's village spread. People from nearby villages came to see. The boys fixing bicycles, the water pits, the festival lights, the notebooks filled with dreams. One young man asked Ravi, "Can you teach us too?" Ravi nodded. "Yes, but only if you promise to teach 2 more." What started as one poor man fixing a radio had become a ripple, mindsets changing mindsets. Arjun watched proudly. "You see, Ravi, this is true wealth. Not gold in a bank, but growth in people's hearts." Chapter 23, The Biggest Gift. One morning, the village chief called Ravi to his old school. "Ravi, we want you to run this school. Teach children not just books, but how to think rich." Ravi stood in the same dusty classroom where he had once failed every exam. Now, he wrote on the blackboard with firm hands. "How to think rich?" Children giggled, curious. He said, "Lesson 1, no one is born poor or rich. Your mind makes you one or the other." A small girl raised her hand shyly. "Uncle, can I be rich too?" Ravi knelt beside her and whispered, "If you learn to love mistakes, yes. If you never stop asking questions, yes. If you help others grow too, then you will be the richest of all." Chapter 24, Ravi's Last Notebook. Years passed. Ravi grew older, hair silver but eyes brighter than ever. One quiet dawn, he sat under the neem tree, the same tree where Arjun had once returned, carrying a suitcase and a secret. Now Ravi held his final notebook, pages yellow and corners torn. Inside were lessons, dreams, prayers, and names of every boy and girl he had ever taught. He wrote on the last page, "A rich mind doesn't fear death, it lives forever in others. My body may die, but my thoughts will feed many minds after me. This is true immortality." He closed the notebook, smiled at the sunrise, and whispered, "Thank you, life." Chapter 25, The Legacy. At Ravi's funeral, hundreds gathered under the neem tree. Young men stood tall, once poor, now skilled mechanics, teachers, entrepreneurs. Mothers wept and said, "He taught my son to dream." Children held tiny notebooks in their hands, seeds waiting to bloom. And beside the grave stood Arjun, older, slower, but his eyes blazing. He spoke to the crowd, voice steady. "Don't cry, Ravi isn't gone. He lives in your thoughts. He lives in every notebook, every bicycle, every water pit, every lamp you light in darkness. Keep his mind alive by thinking rich every single day." Chapter 26, A Whisper to You. And now, dear listener, the story ends where it began, with you. You may not have Ravi's village. You may not fix bicycles, but you have the greatest power he ever had, your mind. Tonight, promise yourself, "I will plant rich thoughts. I will face laughter and fear and grow anyway. I will share what I learn so the wealth multiplies." Let your notebook become your garden. Let your failures become your lessons. Let your life become your light. When you do this, you are no longer poor. You are unstoppable. You are rich. The end, but also the beginning. If Ravi's story touched you, share it with someone you love. Comment and tell me, what is the first rich thought you will plant today? Remember, your mind is your kingdom. Protect it, feed it, and watch the world bow before your beautiful, unstoppable mind. Thank you for listening. Our channel is always here to remind you, you are greater than your fears, stronger than your failures, and your mind is your greatest treasure.